So last week, I saw Obsession, and the next day, I analyzed the film. But after seeing the movie a second time, there's one aspect of this film that I think deserves an analysis all to itself. Bear as a character. Bear as a human being. How a young man suffering from severe loneliness and insecurity can eventually evolve into a predator.
Oh, hello everybody, welcome and welcome back. Today we're watching Analyzing Bear, How Modern Male Insecurity Creates a Predator by Lucas Blue. And apparently we're about to spend a very long time psychoanalyzing a man whose solution to loneliness was basically, what if I stopped respecting another person's free will? So yeah, I'm already concerned. Bear is a really interesting character because I think you can understand exactly why he becomes the way he does without actually sympathizing with what he does. And I feel like that's where this analysis gets interesting. So let's see what Lucas has to say.
Like and subscribe, or I will tickle your pickle.
A man suffering from severe loneliness and insecurity can eventually evolve into a predator of cruelty and manipulation. And for this character analysis, I'll provide research and insights from psychological studies and interviews with the director and the actors. So to break this character down, we're going to use 3 themes. 1, the loneliness epidemic. We'll discuss Bear's loneliness, Bear's opening monologue, the psychology of Bear's obsession, and the connection between loneliness and crushes. 2, love story versus romance. We'll discuss Nikki's love story versus romance line, whether Nikki is actually interested in Bear or not, and both lead actors' takes on whether Nikki is interested in Bear or not. And 3, the harmless predator. We'll discuss Bear's transition from victim to villain, the director's take on Bear's true nature, Bear's methods of justification and abuse, the just be Nikki line, the phone conversation between Bear and the customer service rep, the sex scene, why Bear's name is Bear, Nikki's Hansel and Gretel story, Nikki saying, "I've never been with you" in her sleep, and the ending when Bear tries to vomit the pills, and so much more. Hope you enjoy. Theme number 1, the loneliness epidemic. So when this film starts, the number one thing it wants to establish is that our main character, Bear, is lonely. From a photography standpoint, the very first shot of the film perfectly captures Bear's feeling of isolation. The cold, dreary composition, with no one sitting next to him and no one in the background, with the extras only entering the frame after he's finished this long monologue about his deepest emotions. And in this scene, Bear is rehearsing his confession to Nikki about his feelings for her. And the important note here is, everything Bear says he admires about Nikki is tied to his loneliness. We find out he's been isolated and excluded in the past, as he says, "You were the only person who was nice to me when I moved here." And currently, we learn he's just lost his grandmother, as he says, "After Nana passed, you were the one that called." And then his final line perfectly mirrors his eventual wish for Nikki. "I would choose you over everything." And the connections to loneliness continue in the very next scene when he arrives at home that day. He loses his only companion, his cat Sandy, when she's found dead on the floor. And in the very next moment, after crying about his cat's death in the most cold, isolated, descending shot where we see the title of the film, the camera cuts to him laying in bed alone, looking at Instagram photos of Nikki. And this is the perfect intro to Bear's character before Nikki is even introduced, because it captures this modern phenomenon between loneliness and attraction.
Okay, so Bear is lonely. The movie practically beats you over the head with it. He's isolated, his grandmother dies, his cat dies, and the only person he feels connected to is Nikki. Like, this man is collecting emotional losses like they're fucking Pokemon cards. And I think that's important because Bear doesn't just randomly wake up one morning and decide, you know what, I would like to become a terrible person today. There's a progression. But, and this is a big but, understanding the ingredients that created somebody's behavior doesn't mean you're supposed to excuse the meal. You can understand why somebody is lonely, you can understand why somebody becomes obsessed with another person, you can understand why rejection hurts them, and you can still look at what they eventually do and go, yeah, absolutely not. These two things can coexist.
I was reading into many articles from psychologists about the loneliness epidemic and our desperation for companionship. And I want to share one article that does a really good job of starting this conversation in relation to this film. So the article is from the Monterey Behavioral Health Treatment Center, titled Limerence, When a Crush Becomes an Obsession. And to put it simply, limerence is the feeling of a highly intense, obsessive crush, where it nearly becomes the only thing that matters to you, often stemming from low self-esteem, a lack of purpose, insecurity, and loneliness, which are all things Bear is experiencing. And there's one specific line from this article that perfectly captures why Bear has a crush on Nikki specifically. Someone who grew up feeling emotionally unseen may become intensely attached to any person who makes them feel deeply valued, desired, or emotionally safe. So to put everything together, if we find someone physically attractive and we feel like that person is the only person who really sees us, showing us validation, affection, excitement, and some emotional intimacy, that is the perfect recipe for us to develop a very powerful crush. And those are all things Nikki offers to Bear. As said before, she's the only one who was nice to him, and she's the only one who called when his grandma died. And when we see them together, she smiles at him in a very cheeky, personal way. She touches and teases him, and she tells him he's the only one she can be so open with. There is also Sarah, who clearly has a crush on Bear, but Sarah is much more of a quiet admirer with a tougher shell over her more genuine feelings. So it would be harder for Bear to develop his crush on her instead of Nikki. So ultimately, Bear's crush on Nikki stems from his loneliness, insecurity, and lack of personal direction.
I think there's a massive difference between liking somebody and basically building an entire emotional universe around somebody who doesn't even know they're living in it. And that's where Bear gets scary, because Nikki isn't just Nikki anymore. She's become the solution to Bear's loneliness. She's the person who was nice to him. She's the person who called him when his grandmother died. She's the person who makes him feel seen. So now his brain isn't going, hey, I really like this girl. It's going, this person is the reason my life is worth living. And that is a horrifying amount of pressure to put on another human being. Imagine finding out someone has assigned you the job of being their entire emotional support system without asking you. Like, congratulations, I guess. You have been promoted to girlfriend, therapist, purpose of life, and emotional infrastructure manager, and you didn't even apply.
And unfortunately, sometimes those feelings can evolve into something a lot darker: desperation, cowardice, and a victim mentality. And that victim mentality sparks new, darker feelings of resentment and fear. And those new feelings allow young men to begin to justify acts of manipulation and exploitation against young women. So let's continue to explore how these symptoms of mental and emotional weakness can eventually reach the level of cruelty we see in this film.
The distinction between explanation and justification is really important, because I can absolutely see why Bear becomes obsessed with Nikki, but I don't think the movie wants us to go, oh, poor Bear, he just loved her so much. No, he didn't love her too much. He eventually becomes obsessed with an idea of her, and those are very different things, because when you actually love someone, you have to accept that they're a separate human being. For example, they can disagree with you, they can reject you, they can change, they can disappoint you, they can literally just wake up one morning and decide they don't want you. And you don't get to override that because your feelings are really intense. Bear's problem is that Nikki gradually stops being a person in his head and starts becoming a solution. And once somebody becomes a solution to your entire life, you're going to start treating anything that threatens that solution as an attack. That's where things get really ugly.
Theme number 2, love story versus romance. When Bear and Nikki are driving home, pretty early on in the film, Nikki says the reason she's leaving her job is because she's writing a story, and she needs to feel love to write it. And then Bear says, so it's a romance. And Nikki says, it's not a romance, it's a love story. And then Bear asks, isn't that the same thing? And then Nikki just pauses for the longest time and never actually answers the question. And that long pause emphasizes how important that question is. The question establishes the thematic difference between Bear's sense of love and Nikki's sense of love. And here's what I mean. Romances focus more on the fantasy and ideals of love, usually with good-looking characters, traditional story beats, and a happy ending. Love stories focus more on the reality of love, the more human, less pretty elements of love where the leads are usually more complex and flawed, and the ending is often bittersweet and even sometimes tragic. So Bear's concept of love is defined by the romance genre. When we have a crush, we turn people into the ideal version of themselves, and we get swept up in our imagined connection to them. And we begin fantasizing about a whole happy life with them. This is how he sees Nikki. This is why he symbolically can't tell the difference between a romance and a love story. Nikki sees Bear very differently and defines love by by the love story genre. She hasn't developed a fantasy out of him and is well aware of his complexity and flaws and shortcomings as a partner. His timidness, his insecurity, his lack of drive, his indecisiveness, and so on. And those exact flaws are what limits Nikki's attraction to him.
Bear absolutely seems like someone who's in love with the idea of being in love. He's not experiencing Nikki, he's experiencing Bear's version of Nikki. And those are not necessarily the same woman. That's the dangerous part of having a crush when you're extremely insecure. You don't know the person well enough to have a relationship with the real version of them, so your brain just fills in the blanks. And your brain is an absolutely terrible screenwriter. It will take 3 conversations and suddenly you're imagining your wedding, your house, your retirement plan, and your dog's name. Meanwhile, the other person's like, yeah, he's cool. And you're sitting there mentally picking curtains.
And this brings me to the conversation of whether Nikki likes Bear back or not, if he has a chance. So as you may know, if you've seen my first video on this movie, I pretty definitively said that Bear had absolutely no chance with Nikki. She doesn't like him at all. But the second time I saw this film, I gained a very new perspective. Also thanks to people in the comments. And I want to break this down thoroughly because I think this dynamic between Bear and Nikki is crucial for the rest of the film and the rest of this analysis. And I'll include quotes from the actors because at this point in time, they have now given their answers on whether Nikki actually liked Bear back. So let's unpack this. So on one side of the argument, Nikki shows a lot of signs that she only sees Bear as a friend. She kind of treats him like a brother. She says ew when Ian suggests she's Bear's girlfriend, and she enthusiastically hints to Bear that Sarah likes him. But on the other side of the argument, Nikki gives some potential hints that she might be giving Bear a chance to make a move. For example, she says, when I have a crush on a guy, no one knows, as she smirks at him. And she asks, do you like me? Because if you do, now's the time to tell me. And when she hinted at Sarah liking him, she didn't actually encourage him to go for it at all. She just asked if he had feelings for Sarah as well, as if she's just trying to gauge where his feelings are at between Sarah and herself. And when I did my research on the actors' answers, I felt like I could very comfortably and confidently solidify my perspective. So here's what the 2 leads said. So Michael Johnson said, someone asked us, what if Bear had told her? Do you think you guys would have had a shot? And I was about to say, no way. And Indy, who plays Nikki, said, yeah, I think they might have had a go at it. And I was like, wow. And here's what Indy Navarrete said specifically. I do think that had Bear been honest in that car scene at the top of the film about how he felt about Nikki, that Nikki and him might have had a go at it. Because she's hinting a little bit, and he's hinting a little bit. And I think the sad thing is, we never really get an answer to that question. So ultimately, it is completely subjective, but I feel like Nikki's take ties in the best thematically with what this movie is trying to say. And she's also the one playing that character.
I don't think the question of whether Nikki liked Bear is completely irrelevant either. If she did have some feelings for him, that makes the tragedy of the situation even more complicated. But, and I need to emphasize this, even if Nikki liked Bear, that does not validate what he does later. Like, at all. She could have been madly in love with this man. She could have written his name in her diary with little hearts around it, right? She could have proposed to him herself. Once he starts controlling her through the curse, the situation fundamentally changes. You don't get to use somebody's previous attraction to you as permanent consent. That's not how human beings work. And honestly, I think this is part of why the character is so uncomfortable, because Bear spends so much of the movie wanting certainty. Does she like me? Would she choose me? Could this happen? And instead of accepting that uncertainty like a normal person, he eventually creates a situation where he doesn't have to deal with uncertainty anymore. He makes the choice for her, which is basically the darkest possible solution to insecurity.
But here's what I mean specifically. Everything about her before the curse is non-verbally saying to Bear, just be a man for me for once. I almost like you, and I'd like to give it a try, so help me out. But Bear's lack of confidence, his indecisiveness, and his insecurity, as I said before, are the exact traits that make him ultimately undesirable and unsuitable. And as we now get into the darker side of this movie, those exact traits make him feel like a victim. And this film is just another example of the classic victim-to-villain story in reality. unlikely, insecure young men who feel neglected and betrayed.
Saying Nikki was giving him signs and Bear was too insecure to act can very easily start sounding like we're blaming the situation on Bear's lack of confidence. And I don't think that's the real problem. His problem isn't simply that he's shy. Plenty of shy people get rejected. Plenty of awkward people get rejected. Plenty of insecure people get rejected. And they go home, listen to some depressing music, eat something questionable out of the fridge, and eventually move on. Bear doesn't do that. His insecurity eventually becomes entitlement. That's the important transition. He goes from I really hope she chooses me to she should choose me, and then eventually she has to choose me. That is a completely different psychological state.
So let's explore the darker side of Bear in theme number 3, the harmless predator. So since the film has been out for about a week now, I'm seeing a lot of conversation online about Bear as a person, whether people feel sympathetic to him or people see him as simply a bad person. And overall, the general consensus that I'm getting is that in the beginning, people found him to be a sympathetic character. But as the film went along, they realized more and more that he was a terrible person. So in this third section of the video, I want to go through his gradual transition over the film from innocent and sympathetic all the way to abusive and controlling. The psychology behind it, with insight specifically from the filmmaker himself.
Yes, this is the part I think is the most important, because I actually think Bear being sympathetic at the beginning makes him even more interesting. If he was just evil from minute one, there wouldn't be much to analyze, right? The disturbing thing is watching someone who genuinely has reasons to feel hurt gradually use those reasons to justify hurting somebody else. That's real, and not in the sense of lonely people become predators. Obviously not. Most lonely people are not predators. But the victim mentality Lucas is talking about is interesting because there is a difference between something bad happened to me and something bad happened to me, therefore whatever I do next is justified. That second thought is where everything goes off the rails.
So the first question I would ask is, where did this transition start? What was the first sign? And in this quote from the director, Curry Barker, we'll learn that the first sign is when Bear makes the wish. Everyone kind of treats the one wish willow like it's this cursed thing, and I understand why, because of the context of the movie. But the thing is, the thing that Bear wishes for is cursed. Like taking away someone's autonomy, taking away someone's self, that's cursed. Like it's just the wish itself is a very cursed thing. So ultimately, what we can read here is that Bear's initial wish is the seed to his eventual heartlessness. And this just shows us that as the film goes along, we witness a very insecure and weak person devolve into someone who's neglectful and abusive. The gradual worsening of the curse only reflects the gradual worsening and devolution of Bear as a human being.
Yeah, and I think this is where the movie makes its thesis pretty damn clear, because the wish isn't I wish Nikki would fall in love with me. Even that would already be creepy as hell. The underlying issue is that he wants to remove the possibility of rejection. And that's such a perfect manifestation of insecurity, because rejection is unbearable when your self-worth depends on somebody choosing you. So instead of becoming comfortable with the possibility that Nikki might not want him, he eliminates the possibility. And that is where I stop feeling sorry for him, because at that point, dude, you knew enough.
So of course, one thing to be very clear about is Bear doesn't know the one wish willow is actually gonna work when he makes the wish. It's just a frivolous, desperate, pathetic thought said out loud. And even when the curse begins to work, Bear thinks Nikki's just under the influence of maybe alcohol or drugs from that night. And to be fair, there's an element of respect he has at first. He gives her his bed as he prepares to sleep on the couch, and only sleeps next to her when she begs him to sleep next to her.
I actually appreciate that the movie gives him that little bit of hesitation, because it would be way less believable example, if he immediately became cartoonishly evil or something, he's confused. He doesn't fully understand what's happening. He initially tries to give Nikki some space. Fine, but the problem is what happens after he understands. Because once you realize something is seriously wrong with another person, you don't get to go, well, this is pretty convenient for me. That's where the moral responsibility kicks in.
However, soon enough, it becomes crystal clear to Bear that this curse is working. Or at the very least, Nikki is a victim of some serious mental health issues. But Bear follows through and keeps the relationship going. And as I mentioned earlier in this video, Bear figures out ways in his own head to justify his selfishness. Deep feelings of loneliness and insecurity lead to a victim mentality, and that victim mentality allows for the gradual justification of more and more cruelty. So no matter what Nikki does, he can tell himself, this is happening to me, and I'm doing the right thing by trying to make it work. And if I have to control her and hide her and fix her, I'll do that because I should. And deep down, Bear knows the real right thing to do is to get her the help she needs and recognize she's not in the right state to be with him.
People don't usually convince themselves they're the villain. They come up with a story. I had no choice. I'm helping. I know what's best. They're happier this way. I'm doing this because I care. And suddenly, something completely selfish has been dressed up as morality. Bear doesn't have to tell himself, I am exploiting Nikki. He can just tell himself, I'm taking care of Nikki. Same action, different story. And humans are really good at writing stories that make us look like the good guy. We're basically all unreliable narrators of our own lives.
It's the same reason he says lines like, just don't do that, and just be normal again, and just be Nikki. These lines could be pulled directly from a real-life abusive and manipulative partner who's unaccepting of their partner's humanity and imperfection, only interested in an idea of them, their ideal idea of them, as we discussed in theme number 2. Just be Nikki, metaphorically, kind of means only be what I want you to be.
Yes, just be Nikki is actually such a revealing line, because what does that even mean? Which Nikki? The Nikki who likes you? The Nikki who makes you feel safe? The Nikki who doesn't challenge you? The Nikki who doesn't reject you? Because that's not be yourself. That's be the version of yourself that makes me comfortable. And that's the entire problem. He doesn't actually want Nikki to be Nikki. He wants Nikki to be Bear compatible, which is not a person. That's a fucking settings menu.
It's also why when Bear calls the One Wish Willow Company, he asks for them to alter the wish before canceling the wish, still hoping to control her autonomy as much as he can.
This is another thing that makes Bear so frustrating and disgusting, because even when he's finally confronting the fact that something is deeply wrong, his first instinct is still, how can I fix this so I can keep what I want? Not how do I get Nikki somewhere safe? Not how do I undo what I did? It's, can I modify this situation? Bro, this is not an iPhone setting, okay? You cannot just go into Nikki's preferences and turn off free will.
And then we get the line from the rap on the phone. Just because you made it happen doesn't mean it isn't real. Sounds to me like you have a moral obligation to be there for her. And this is exactly what Bear is ignoring. In reality, the rep is saying, if someone has become attached to you because of your methods of manipulation, they're still attached to you, and it is your fault. And the moral thing to do is to help them the best way you can, either by seeking the appropriate support or making an honest change in yourself.
The customer service guy is basically the only adult in this entire situation, to be honest. He's like, sir, you have created a horrifying ethical nightmare. And Bear's response is essentially, okay, but can I exchange it? Like, what the fuck? But the line about responsibility is important because Bear didn't create Nikki's feelings in a normal romantic sense. He created the conditions that made those feelings possible. And once you deliberately create that situation, you can't just wash your hands off of it just because the result makes you uncomfortable.
And director Curry Barker even comments on how Bear uses his nice guy persona to justify his cruel intentions. Bear plays into this kind of, he's a nice guy. He plays into that. It's like, I know that I come off as a shy, nice guy, and I'm going to play into that. I designed it to not be too in your face, like, you have to feel this way. I never want to point the camera at an answer of like, hey, this guy's bad, but the writing's on the wall.
And this is why the nice guy thing matters. Because being shy isn't evil. Because being awkward isn't evil. Being lonely isn't evil. Being inexperienced isn't evil. But if you start thinking, oh, I'm a nice guy, therefore I deserve affection, you have already entered dangerous territory. Because being decent isn't a transaction. You don't put 3 years of kindness into the relationship vending machine and get a girlfriend. That's not how this works. You don't get romantic compensation for having good manners.
And this quote is just another example of the young male victim mentality used to justify cruelty in a relationship. It's what allows him to go as far as even having sex with Nikki when he knows she's no longer in control. And it was that scene, for me, that solidified Bear as not only cowardly and insecure, but also a predator.
Yeah, so basically, everything before this can be discussed psychologically, like loneliness, insecurity, obsession, fear of rejection, self-esteem. Fine. But once you knowingly exploit somebody who isn't capable of freely choosing the situation, we're not talking about poor, insecure guy who doesn't know how to communicate anymore. We're talking about someone crossing a very serious moral line. And that's why I actually think calling Bear a predator is really, really, really important. Not because he's some cartoon monster who was born evil, but because the movie shows how someone can gradually rationalize behavior that becomes deeply harmful. And that's much more disturbing.
And then with that realization, it just clicked for me that that's why his name is Bear. A bear is one of those classic animals in history and pop culture that's regarded as innocent and warm-hearted, but in reality is literally one of the most dangerous and relentless predators in the world. And it ties nicely into Barker's description of Bear using this shy guy demeanor as a method of disguise for his true dangerousness.
The bear symbolism is kind of good because bear does sound adorable, like, "Aw, little bear." And then you remember bears are basically enormous walking tanks that can decide you're having a bad afternoon. So, yeah, cute branding, terrible product.
And on that note of classic children's stories, in my second viewing, I was able to rewatch Nikki's Hansel and Gretel story monologue. And in my first video, I caught how it was an incestuous fanfiction where Nikki describes Gretel lusting for her brother, Hansel, which paralleled Nikki lusting for Bear, who she also originally saw as a brother. However, on this second viewing, there is a line where she mentions Hansel has chosen to be with Gretel sexually many times before, subtly highlighting that Bear has more control over the situation than you might first think.
I really like symbolisms when it's subtle, because fairy tales are full of these stories about innocence, temptation, danger, and people getting trapped in situations they don't understand. And that's basically the entire movie. But I would be careful about treating every single line as some secret mathematical equation where Hansel equals Bear and Gretel equals Nikki, and therefore, guys, sometimes a weird story is also just a weird story. We can analyze symbolism without turning the movie into a conspiracy board with red string.
And another scene that really confirms Bear's true insecurity and cruelty is when the cursed version of Nikki is sleeping, and the real Nikki emerges to speak to Bear. The real Nikki begs Bear to kill her because the pain of the curse is so torturous. And then Bear asks, "What's so bad about being with me?" And then the real Nikki says, "I've never been with you, Bear. Just kill me." And in that moment, Bear's ego is so damaged and he's so full of resentment that he abandons her, knowing how much pain she's in.
This is probably one of the most brutal moments for Bear psychologically, because this is the one thing he has been trying to avoid hearing the entire movie. She doesn't actually choose him. And notice how important that is. It's not just that Nikki doesn't love him, it's that Bear finally has to confront the fact that the relationship he thought he had wasn't real in the way he imagined it. And that is devastating to his ego. But again, Being devastated doesn't make what he did okay. You can be heartbroken and still be responsible for your actions. Those are not mutually exclusive.
And it's only when Nikki's condition is so severe that Bear believes it's no longer salvageable. And only then does he try to cancel out the wish with Ian's help. And after that doesn't work, in the finale of this film, when Bear is on the verge of taking his own life, you would think this is an act of selflessness. But really it's not. It's the realization that with Nikki at a point of no return, Bear is completely alone again, with no personal purpose and essentially no reason to live.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he doesn't suddenly become a good person because he realizes what he's done. He reaches a point where the fantasy is no longer giving him what he wanted. And now he's alone again. That's an important distinction. If you only regret hurting someone once the consequences start hurting you, that's not exactly selflessness. That's regret, and those are different things. I understand the interpretation that Bear's final decision is morally significant, but I also understand the argument that his motivation isn't purely selfless. And honestly, I think that's the point. The movie doesn't suddenly turn him into a saint at the end. He's still Bear. He's still this deeply insecure person who has spent the entire movie making decisions based on his inability to accept reality. And his final decision matters precisely because he finally does something that isn't about getting Nikki to love him. That's a huge shift. Does it erase everything? Absolutely fucking not. But it does give the character an actual arc. And I prefer that over Bear is Evil the End because that's kind of boring. The more uncomfortable question is, how does somebody who starts out as a lonely, insecure, seemingly harmless person become capable of doing something so terrible?
And even when things get this hopeless, Bear's cowardice prevails once again as he attempts to vomit back up the medication he just swallowed. And only when he loses his autonomy, when Nikki snaps the new one-wish Willow, can he finally go through with an act of some courage and morality, retaining the pills, losing his life, and lifting Nikki's curse. A decision he could never make for himself. The same reason, from the beginning, he would never have the real girl of his dreams.
And I think the movie's answer is basically you take loneliness, you mix it with insecurity, add obsession, add entitlement, add a victim mentality, then give that person the ability to remove the thing they're afraid of most, rejection. And suddenly you have a very dangerous combination.
All right, that's my analysis. And before I go, I just want to say that I feel like in the comments in my last video, there was a little more noise than usual. And I just want to say to all the people that really challenged me or really disagreed with me, I have to say thank you. Because whether you agree or disagree or feel like I didn't capture everything or feel like I did cover everything, I really feel like all of it just gives me a stronger and broader perspective on the piece of art itself. So yes, thank you so much to everyone who commented and anyone who just simply watched the video. I hope you enjoyed this one and I hope you enjoyed the next one, and I'll see you later.
I respect that because I think this is one of those movies where you can disagree about individual interpretations while still understanding the broader point. I don't agree with every part of this analysis, especially when I think the explanation of Bear's loneliness sometimes gets dangerously close to making him sound more sympathetic than I personally think he deserves. But I do think the analysis gets something very important right. Bear is not interesting because he's evil. He's interesting because he isn't obviously evil at first. He's awkward, he's lonely, he's insecure, he's grieving, he's someone you could actually feel sorry for. And that's exactly why the transformation is disturbing. Because the scary thing about harmful people isn't always that they walk into a room looking like villains. Sometimes they're just miserable people who have slowly convinced themselves that their pain gives them permission to hurt somebody else. And it doesn't. You can be lonely, you can be insecure, you can be rejected, you can be heartbroken, you can feel like nobody wants you. None of that gives you ownership over another person. And I think that's probably the biggest thing I took from this whole analysis. Understanding someone is not the same thing as defending them. You can understand exactly why Bear became Bear and still look at him and go, yeah, you are a terrible fucking person. Anyway, that was my reaction to Luca's Blue's analysis of Bear, and honestly, I think the movie is way more interesting when you stop asking, is Bear secretly a good guy? And start asking, at what point does being a victim stop being an explanation and start becoming an excuse? Because that is the question that I think this character actually leaves us with. And unfortunately for Bear, the answer is you don't get to use your pain as a coupon for hurting other people. Anyway, that's it for me. I'll see you guys in the next one.